What's up, guys? Welcome to my first video for the Ep.1 podcast. So, unfortunately, I couldn't get anyone on for my first podcast, but I still want to talk about some things that I think are really interesting. And I think one of the first things we can start off on is, like, when it comes to TikTok. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to TikTok, bro, I think it's cool. I like how it's became very engaging and it's brought a lot of people together. But I think a really big issue it struggles with is that it it's lowered people's ability to like pay attention, right? Attention span. And when you do that, that can cause a lot of issues. A lot of issues for individuals, especially like for school, for like work, I mean anything, right? Just spending time with your family. Because like I have like friends genuinely who I will sit down and watch a movie with, and I am dead serious, cannot pay attention full time without checking their phone at least like 3 times for like a 2 hour movie. And I'm like, dog, just watch it, bro. It's not that hard. Now I'm not gonna lie, I have been a little bad recently, especially as stuff's gotten a lot harder. Like with school. Because school right now is tough. Got a lot to do. Another thing I think is really cool to bring up is the concept of the ice bucket challenge. That coming back is like a big deal. Um, in 2025. I mean, because that came back out in. Well, let me pull that up real quick. That came back out in. I have my articles all right here. That first came, I believe, 2014. Oh yeah. So from early 2014 is when we got the cold water challenge, right? When it originally came out. Uh, it was also a really good way to in Norway to protest against alcohol, and it was also here in the United States big for donating money for cancer research. Jumping into cold water was originally what it was for. Then it slowly transitioned into the now what we call ice bucket challenge, right? And that was for bringing the what was it called? I have ALSD disease. To basically simplify it, it's that it starts off with like twitches, and an individual over time as they age, these symptoms can worsen, and eventually they die to it inevitably. And it's supposed to bring awareness to that, which I honestly think it's good that we have something like that. Honestly, we need something like this to bring us back together, like as a people, especially with the issues we're facing right now. Just as a world, we're like so divided more than we ever been. Um, I also think it's pretty cool that it came back and it's for mental health this time. You know, mental health is such a serious topic that I'm glad it's been getting a lot more attention recently. Because there's a lot of people, you know, who are suffering with these mental disorders and or struggles, you know what I mean? And they don't feel supported or they feel lost and that no one understands them. And having those things out there to show that there's help for those people who are struggling with those issues and that they should seek help so that they can at least learn to manage or possibly rid of their symptoms entirely. I think that's really good. Um, some people that did the cold water challenge, or I'm just gonna call it, or yeah, is I believe. Let me see. So somewhere right. Give me a second. So yeah, the president of the United States at the time, Barack Obama, did it. Then who else did it? Donald Trump was offered it but declined. The campaign to $100. Justin Bieber did it. LeBron James did it, which is actually a shocker. And then it looks like a comedian writer named Alfred Andrew, I guess known for Weird AI. And then the guy, a Japanese, I don't even know how to say his name. I'll probably put it like somewhere right here. He's known for his manga, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. My friend watches that. And then former President Bush did it, Bill Clinton, and David Cameron, and then Alex Emanuel, First Minister. Okay, he's First Minister of Scotland, and Russell Brand is an English comedian and actor and podcaster personality. So those are just some of like the big face individuals who did it. So honestly, like any sort of high official did it. It's I think that was something was a good first step into the right direction for the world generally. Another thing I find really awesome is science, um, particularly when it came to they found water, right? So we've known this, I think, since like, was it 2020, 2021, where they were talking about having lakes on Mars, which was like a big deal. Like, oh my gosh, there's actually life outside of, or of like, was life outside of Earth. And they just found a massive lake, and they found structures on the red planet. Nicknamed Skull Hill, was discovered by NASA's Perseverance rover as it searched for signs of ancient life in hills and rocky outcrops of Mars's barren J0 crater, a bowl-shaped repression that scientists once held a huge ancient lake. The rock stands out against the lighter toned rock that surrounds it, leading to scientists to suspect that it may not have formed there. Rather, it had been transported on a Martian river or lake, or its current position billions of years ago. However, many questions still remain: the rock's origin and if it can tell us the history about our cosmic neighbor. From my source right here, livenews.com. So I think that's honestly a pretty big leap, to think that at one point, like, yo, actually people lived here. And there's like so much possible culture there once we get there that we can uncover. I mean, like, who knows what kind of like creatures that, like, imagine all of, like, there's so much. Like, imagine the bones we'll find. Like, here we find big bones of like dinosaurs, T-Rexes, just of mammals, whatever, right? And you get a chance to just find something. I mean, who knows if there'll even be bone, right? It could be totally something different, some sort of other skeletal way of managing body, right? We have like exoskeletons and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. Um, do I think it's worth exploring Mars? I definitely think it is worth exploring because it brings us a lot of opportunity as a society, because it gives us kind of a hope, as a hope that there's something more than just like Earth. And I'm very thankful. Earth is a great place, right? It's lovely here. But it'd be so cool. Like, imagine in, like, I'm gonna be honest. We're probably gonna be dead when this happens. But by the time we start going to explore, our solar system, it's gonna be great. It's going to be cool. Like, imagine the amount of resources out there, the new technologies we'll be able to make, right? Because we can only make so much with the technologies we have here, with the resources we have here. Now we can get really good at using our technologies for specific things, but having even more vast resources could potentially lead us to things we never thought were possible, right? Things that we thought were magic or only in sci-fi could come into reality. I saw another thing on AI's ability to predict brain tumors. So to kind of sum it up, instead of just doing like one singular scan, the AI does, I think it's like does like multiple scans, and they're using nearly 400 MRI scans for 715 children to get the most data out of it. So this is kind of like a smaller scale rare disease, or sorry, rare cancer, excuse me. And they need to use all the data they can. So this group came together and said, you know what? We kind of need help across from the United States. This is where the study was taken, in the United States at the time. And they gave all that data to an AI to train it to detect early stages of brain tumors. And it can see those little micro changes that we might not be able to see as humans and help like stop it. Like, that was the big thing, is to be able to stop tumors. Honestly, I think that's great, for a lot of people, for people who are developing that, because I believe like tumors can develop whenever. I mean, imagine the amount of sciences we'll be able to do with AI. You know, I know AI gets a really bad rap, right? Because there's so many issues with it, right? Like the ethnical issues, the use of it alone, right? Like what people are using it for, plagiarism, you know, explicit contents. Uh, there's just a lot, right? And I don't think we talk about the positives that came with AI. You know, I think one of the positive things that came with AI is light. I would say is probably language learning, right? I use Duolingo, something I'm learning with, and they recently rolled out a feature with one of their characters, Lily, and she basically can talk to you in another language to help you become more comfortable speaking in that language and having that ability to interpret that live, especially without subtitles. Because someone like me, I'm always reading stuff in Spanish and subtitles, and I'm like, okay, now I hear these people speak with no subtitles. I'm like, what did you just say? Can you repeat that? So that's a common issue I struggle with, and I imagine a lot more. You know, a lot more people suffer, not suffer with, struggle. Um, yeah, it's one of the better ways of using AI. I think another is, um, for this, for example, researchers, for scientists to actually make scientific discoveries or possibly predict things, because AI is basically going to help us become more precise in what we already do and help make things more precise. You know, in that first barrier, kind of just bringing us closer to whatever we're trying to achieve with that sort of AI. You know, there's a lot of good that comes with AI too. It's just that the public AI has caused a lot of issues, especially with like just like AI generated content. You see it everywhere. I know you see it on YouTube, TikTok, I mean any social media. And it kind of just drains the whole concept of what content creation is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a place where you can express your creativity or express your ideas, you know what I mean? And when you get rid of that element, it kind of ruins it. It's just like, what's the point of watching it? And you know, sometimes I catch myself watching it, and the fact is that it's not even that like good. It's kind of sloppy. You know, it's kind of just like slapped together because they know people are gonna watch it. You know, people are just gonna scroll and be like, watch it, and then not even think about it. And I think that kind of just dulls the community and just kind of sets us back a little bit. And people start to just be like, oh, well, I can make so much money doing this. I mean, who cares? You know, if it's good or not for the community. It's just like money. You know, it comes down to money, and I find that a little sad personally. A more positive thing, though, is from a Harvard study. Let me pull it up. It's talking about how music can improve our health and quality of life. So, to kind of just go over a quick summary of it, they did a research study talking about how music can be health related and to help people relax and just make adjustments, improve mental health, and small improvements in physical health. Um, you know, music is very complex. You know, it's something that everyone, well, most people enjoy. And, you know, it's part of social life, just life in general. And, you know, it's a very therapeutic tool. I think I have written right here that, yeah, AI, not AI. Music therapy can help decrease anxiety and decrease pain receptors during cancer treatment, which I think is really good because I can only imagine like doing cancer treatments and having that constant pain. I mean, that has not to be comfortable. Um, Another thing it can do is also help amplify emotions of release, kind of help people express what they're feeling, whether that be positive, negative, in a healthier way. You know, instead of doing controlled sub, controlled substances and stuff you just shouldn't do. You know, I would rather people listen to music and scream on the top of their lungs than, take a drug. You know what I mean? Just you shouldn't. No matter what, don't do drugs. It's crazy how many people just do it so comfortably and don't even question it. It makes me sad. Genuinely, it makes me sad about that. But there's hope for everything. Um, it's a tool that can definitely help people for sure. The possible negative side effects I could think of is probably the type of music you listen to, right? If you listen to real negative music, like about hating yourself or hating your ex or whatever, I mean, I imagine if you listen to that like over and over again, I imagine that kind of creates like a negative feel for yourself and just people around you, even if they have hurt you. And I feel like that can put people in a negative mindset. But I think overall, as long as we continue to go forward positively and with growth there is going to be pain and there's going to be people who do things that they shouldn't, but as long as you in your best way try to help yourself and others, because like I believe genuinely you make the choice to be better, not others, um, you'll see those improvements, right? What you can take away from this video is that music can help you. It's a great thing. um, Listen to it if you're feeling stressed, you know however you may be feeling positive, right? Might be feeling good, play some music. It's a good way to just relax. I think that's something we need as a people. We're always so stressed and don't learn to just relax and enjoy the moment. um, Take away from this video that AI isn't entirely negative and that there are extremely positive things that come with AI. Like helping predict tumors, to helping us learn languages, to help us better communicate as people. Um, Science is still going strong. There's a lot of positivity in science too. Some positivity in that. The exploration of Mars, obviously seems to be going pretty good so far. We're making some decent progress, getting some better pictures. Still graphing it out. Looks pretty good. And the ice bucket challenge, that's a really good thing. I think is bringing people together. Is the ice bucket challenge. That's a great thing. We need. So, I think I'm going to be ending my podcast right here. Thank you guys for listening. This is my first video. If there's anything you guys think I can improve on, I'd greatly appreciate it. And like I said before, you make the choice to be better, not others.